is Glen Foster. He's a Nanaimo-based musician with a long list of credits and accomplishments to his name. He's our musician on the show today, and we'll have a feature chat with him through Matt Carter later in the hour. It's a potpourri today for sure. Variety is the name of the game. We're making crepes with Gilles from the Café Francais in downtown Nanaimo. Now, we've brought along our Shaw TV volunteer, Raymond Albert. I always reverse those names because, well, we don't want anything getting lost in translation in this particular segment. It's going to be entertaining for sure. We're experiencing gospel music and we're exploring what it's like to find a job if you're an immigrant. Also in the lineup, Hidden Heroes with Bill Robinson and the Vancouver Island Symphony, Rotary's success with being this close to eliminating polio around the world, and we have a big announcement from the Nanaimo Clippers. All of that coming up on this 18th edition of the show. What show? Well, it's a show. It's this show. And you know that I can hear them because the mics are live. I can hear them, you can hear me, you can hear everything, sometimes even what's going on behind the scenes. We're going to tease you for just a little bit now because we're going to make crepes later on in today's show, but we're not going to get there quite yet. Gilles from Le Café Francais is here. It's a tiny little bistro, a fabulous little bistro on Commercial Street in downtown Nanaimo, and we've asked Raymond Albert to join us as well. Now, the reason for that, Gilles, is that your accent is pretty thick, which we're going to hear, and it's a complete, almost security measure for me because I don't trust my own French, which is almost embarrassing. And I do want to acknowledge that Gilles is from France and Raymond is from Quebec. So we're going to start. Gilles, what is it that people love about crepes so much that we'll show them later?
Why or what?
Why? Why do people love crepes? Why?
Because it's very good.
That's a pretty
Just
good,
because it's very good.
That's a pretty good reason.
Yeah. Today I do crepe roulade de thon et crevettes.
Oh.
It's very good. You understand this?
Well, I couldn't repeat it. So Raymond.
It's actually called a roulade.
Roulade, I can,
okay.
Yeah.
And we're going to make it with a thon. And thon is tuna.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's very nice. The crepe is very thin.
Right.
You know?
I think one of the things that people love about it so much is that there's so much variety. You can do almost anything with crepes, savory, sweet, hot, cold.
What do you would like? In French, the crepes is the same for tacos, for Mexican food. Okay. Or the same rice for sushi. I don't know. You change, you mix, your sugar, no sugar.
Okay.
Alcohol, no alcohol. It's nice.
Alcohol.
Yeah.
Alcohol.
Alcohol. And sugar.
And sugar. Okay, perfect. We'll get into more of that in a little bit later on in the show. But for now, we're going to throw things over to Dunya Tozy to talk about Hidden Heroes with Bill Robinson and Margot Holmes from the Vancouver Island Symphony.
Thank you very much, Kate. Well, it seems that we're going to have a very yummy show today. I'm a big fan of crepes, so I can't wait. And probably Gilles will be my crepe hero. Speaking of heroes, Hidden Heroes is a segment we used to air here on Shaw TV regularly. It featured people who are doing, regular people, who are doing great things. And it was hosted by none other than Mr. Bill Robinson, the famous broadcaster, motivational speaker, author, and most recently, well, the elected school trustee. So we have with us Bill here today to speak about his new book, called Hidden Heroes. And we also have Margot Holmes from the Vancouver Island Symphony Orchestra to speak about an event that's called Heroes Forever. So the two are very related. Welcome to the both of you guys.
Thank you very much. I'm somewhat tongue-tied after that introduction.
Well, you know, I mean, you've done such great things, Bill, and most recently, congratulations for being elected as a school trustee. How's this been going? You know, it's been, what, a couple of months now?
Month and a half or so. It has been really exciting. First of all, a real honor to be elected to a very important position in this community. And a real honor to serve with the people who've been elected to the board. People are going to be really pleased with the way this board works together and creates a strategic plan that we've been looking forward to for a long time. So it's really exciting on that regard. The book, by the way, watch me promote the book.
We're going to talk a lot about the book.
The subtitle, it's called Hidden Heroes, lessons in living from the everyday folks who lived them. So it's a collection of about 170 of the 500 plus columns that I wrote. And I selected columns, the foundation of Hidden Heroes is small things done consistently can and often do make a big difference. Parallel to that is it's not the 1 in a million superheroes that make the difference in this world. It's the millions of us ordinary heroes, hidden heroes, ordinary people consistently doing small things any one of us could do. So this is stories of people who have much to teach us simply by the way they lead their lives.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's very kind of like, for anybody who knows you, it's very fitting that you'd be, doing this, being a school trustee. I don't know, Margot, from your experience, why do you think he fits that role?
I think because Bill's so involved in the community, and he's just interested. You know, he's one of those people who's actually interested in what people have to say and takes it a little bit further. Mm-hmm. It's that investigative, or maybe just nosiness.
Being nosy is good, eh?
All good.
Good nosy, eh?
And we were quick to partner on this Heroes concert because when I first came to town, that's 15 years ago, and I heard we had a symphony, and then I went out to hear the symphony. I think that is so important to represent our community, to let people know that we're the kind of community that has a symphony, not just a symphony, but an extraordinary symphony. So I had an opportunity to sit on the board, I think 3 years or so.
Wow.
And I do whatever volunteering I can because, first of all, they are committed to the community as well, the musicians, and they have the greatest staff that you'll find anywhere in any organization. They're also all good-looking women, but that's
beside the point.
Certainly it wouldn't attract me.
Well, I know with us here at Shaw, the Hidden Here segment, you've done it for about 5 years. I was counting in our database. You've done about 159 segments. So, I mean, that's a lot. So you met a lot of great people, and I'm sure there's a lot of more great people out there. What did you find is the most common quality or characteristic between almost all of these people that you've met and interviewed?
The most common? I don't want to do this. I'm not a hero. And it's absolutely the truth. Yeah. They're heroic in that through the way they lead their lives, starting with my parents, who were my hidden heroes. I learned so much by watching the way they led their lives. So these people are just doing what they think is the right thing, day after day after day. They're heroes because they're great teachers. And by the way, in the book, did I mention that I've got a book that's coming out, and it'll be a public, what's the word?
It'll be launched.
Public launch happening.
It'll be launched at the Symphony on December 28th, or January 28th at the Heroes concert, and a public launching at the museum on February 3rd.
That's right, that's right.
So, and what I started to say was a goodly number of the people in the book have been featured on Shaw TV.
Oh, that's great. Wow. I'm thinking maybe we should start putting our segments back on our YouTube channels again so people can watch them again.
I think that would be a great idea. I really do.
Well, Margot, talk to us a little bit about the concert. You know, some details. It's happening on January 28th.
January 28th, and we have done this concert before, probably 3 seasons ago, where we honor our fire, our RCMP, paramedics, and the Coast Guard Auxiliary. And we did it, and it was the first time we did it, huge success, and our audience asked for it again. And it's really an opportunity to just acknowledge how everyday people go out and put themselves on the line. And there's so much heroic music out there. And music is one of those things that is always used at special occasions. And so we're doing a second concert, and this one's called Heroes Forever. And the music reflects, it's fabulous music. It will touch people's soul. It's at the Port Theatre. We're doing, for example, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, which everybody knows. And so if people love to hear that, come on out and hear it. We're doing Nimrod, by Elgar, which is really my favorite piece. And some of these pieces people might not recognize for me to say them, but if you heard them, you'd know instantly what they're from.
That's great.
So.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about with Bill, but I've been signaled that we're running out of time, so we have to wrap up, unfortunately. But before we go again, so the concert is happening January 28th, and the public launch is the book launch is happening on February 3rd at the library.
At the museum.
At the museum.
And will be launched on the 28th at the Symphony.
Also at the Symphony. Okay, and for people to get your book, it's not printed yet, but it's in the printers right now, right?
Yeah, 8 days from now it'll be ready.
Okay, 8 days from now, that's great. And the Symphony Orchestra, you can learn more about this on their website, so check it out and make sure you head there. And we'll be back with more after the break.
Welcome back to the show. What show? The Show. Only on Shaw TV. The Show, only on Shaw TV.
We are having a good time today behind the scenes on the show here. The things that get yelled out of the control room, which I can hear, and then translated from Melissa Hall, comes down to 10 seconds, you know, give or take to studio, whatever. So we are definitely laid back. We're having a good time. And up next, we do have the Nanaimo Clippers. They made a huge announcement on Monday, January the 16th, the first ever Western Canadian Championship. Now, what is that? Graham Carter, you are with the WCC, Calder, and you're not, let's just, first of all, what is it? Western Canadian Championship. Wow.
Kate, I'd like to talk a little bit about junior A hockey. In this context, represented by young men ages 16 to 20 years old.
Okay.
There are 10 leagues and close to 140 junior A teams across the country. This tournament will bring together the league champions from the 4 western provinces, plus the Nanaimo Clippers as a host team. And there will be a 10-day tournament being held April 26th to May 5th. 2013. It'll be the culmination of the 2012-2013 season. And the top 2 finishers of that tournament will represent Western Canada in the Royal Bank Cup, which is the national tournament for junior A supremacy in Canada.
Now, it's no secret that I'm not a sports follower, but this sounds like a pretty big deal.
We're very excited about it. It is the first ever tournament, and we're very proud to have been awarded the privilege of hosting this tournament. I'm going to be the host of the, the chair of the host organizing committee. So yes, it's a very big deal for the club, for the community, for the league. Again, it's the first one, so the whole league, the BCHL, very proud to be the host league for this championship as well.
Going to bring Jen Kennedy into the conversation. What does it mean for the Clippers to have this?
You know what, it's huge, and we have such a great fan base. We have such great volunteers. We have amazing young men that play for us. We have a fantastic coaching staff. So to be awarded this championship is really a prideful moment, and the fact that we're going to take it and run with it and make not only our community proud and whatnot, but the BC Hockey League. It's really a chance for us to showcase our program, our community, to the rest of the world, or the Western Canada for sure. So it'll be fantastic.
A lot of legwork building up to this. You
a lot
really
of legwork.
had to work hard to be awarded.
Yeah, it was a bid process, so we did have to go through all the Hockey Canada bidding process, which was a learning curve, very steep. But we came together as an organization, and it's going to be fantastic for our community. The amount of traffic that it's going to bring to the community, we're really excited about. Yeah. We believe that it will bring significant tourism dollars and showcase our community, be able to share with the rest of the world what we're so proud of every day.
Are you new to the community here?
No, I've been here 15 years. This time around, I lived here back in the 80s as well, but and I've been involved with the Clippers as we've opened our home starting 10 years ago as a billet home. So we've had the privilege of hosting some fine young men, very skilled hockey players as well, over the last 10 years. And it's been a real privilege to be asked to participate in this project.
Now we're still 15 months out from the event. A lot of work that has to be done, obviously, in that amount of time, which I'm sure is going to fly by. First of all, it's not going to be referred to as the WCC. There's good logos and sponsors coming on board, and then just organizing the tournament itself.
Yes. This is the first. Hockey Canada have made a 4-year commitment to the 4 western branches, and the following year will be Manitoba, and then Alberta, and then Saskatchewan. Hockey Canada is negotiating with a number of corporate sponsors for a titleship or a naming for the naming rights of the tournament. So going forward, once that all those agreements are in place, broadcast agreements and things of that nature. Wow. They're speaking with Sportsnet and TSN about the possibility of broadcasting the final game.
And Shaw, perhaps, as well?
Perhaps Shaw as well.
Does this mean new facilities in town as well? Are we set up?
We are set up. We're very well set up, actually. So that's one of the factors in a bid process, is that we have to tell them what we're equipped with in our community. So with a long history of hosting awesome provincial and national events in our town, our city, it sets us up very nicely facility-wise, absolutely.
And there's obviously an appetite for viewership on something like this. We've got the players, got the infrastructure, and the audience is there as well.
For the hockey fan in the Mid-Island regions, this will be a tremendous opportunity to witness some highly skilled hockey players, nationally ranked hockey players, players who have been drafted by the NHL and players that, as I say, are ranked in Central Scouting and will have the opportunity to be drafted in the June draft, NHL draft. So,
Graham, Jen, thank you for coming in today. Good luck with everything. Keep us posted on the developments over the next 15 months. And we've got a show here on Channel 4, Game On, with Dan Marshall in cooperation with Todd Jones, who's directing this show right now. And I'm sure that we'll be featuring some of the goings-on with the Western Canadian Championship coming to Nanaimo in spring of 2013. We're going to throw things over now to Glen Foster, our musician for today's show. Here's a song called Elevator Music.
Walking through a shopping mall, talking to a friend, wandering down some hallway, always stalling near the end, resisting real temptation not to race too far ahead, listening to conversation and debating in my head, elevator music playing irrelevant, distracting music that I hear. Elevator music not relating to annoying noises in my ear. Lost in thoughts that cross my mind, I'm washed with winter rain, tossed aloft and frosted like a frozen weather vane, steering towards the course in the direction that I came, fearing foreign forces of deception that I blame. Elevator music playing irrelevant, distracting music that I hear. Elevator music not relating to annoying noises in my ears. Reception softly shrouded in a fog of endless dream. Reception often clouded like a loud, relentless scream. All at once the obvious conclusion becomes clear. What were once oblivious, solution seems so near. Elevator music playing, relevant, distracting music that I hear. Elevator music not relating to annoying noises in my ear. Elevator music, mildly amusing tunes we recognize. Elevator music, so soft and soothing, tends to hypnotize. Elevator music, so inoffensive that I drop my guard. Elevator music, I get defensive and I go too far.
Very nice. That's Glen Foster. Elevator Music is the name of the song, in case you didn't quite catch it. We'll have more with Glen in just a few minutes, a feature interview with Matt Carter, and another song or two before this show is over. But first, Rotary International is this close to eradicating polio around the world. No easy task. Polio was one of the most dreaded childhood diseases of the 20th century, according to Wikipedia. The disease is a viral infection. It's claimed the lives of thousands and paralyzed thousands of others. Polio vaccines were developed in the 1950s. Now, Rotary International, along with the World Health Organization and UNICEF, enhanced vaccination efforts to eradicate polio worldwide. And I heard just yesterday that India is celebrating their first year of no cases of polio reported. So that is good news that the efforts are paying off. Dave Hammond is the president of the Downtown Rotary Club. And I guess, what is enhanced vaccination efforts, a real focus of what Rotary's been doing?
Well, as you said, we're working with a number of organizations around the world. There are 4 countries left where polio is still endemic. I didn't actually know about India.
Yeah, it's good news yesterday.
So India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Nigeria, where it is still flourishing, if you will.
Right.
There are several other countries that are also polio travels with people, and so when they go from place to place, like, there's occasional flare-ups. A number of other countries where that's happening as well. However, those are minor cases relative to those 4 cases.
Any close to home? Canada, BC?
No.
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 Okay.
There hasn't been any polio in North America since, I believe, the late 50s.
Yeah.
And so when the question of what's being done now, it's really on the ground, village by village. Many of these folks are rural. Many of them don't have the information. Many of them are in strife-torn areas, so it's difficult to get to the children to be able to inoculate them.
And from what I read, it's very, very contagious, spreads very easily.
Yes.
So just a lack of hand washing.
Yes.
In rural communities like that.
Well, and
which they don't have access a lot to the water.
So
right?
it's an oral vaccine.
Okay.
But it has to be done for 3 years in a row. So it's not a matter of a single dose one year. They have to be returned because it's not considered to be eradicated until there are no cases for 3 years.
Okay. Now, it is a priority for Rotary International. The Downtown Rotary Club, a special focus? Is it safe to say that?
No, it's Rotary International. There's about 1,200,000 members around the world. It's our #1 focus of international international projects, if you will. And right now we're 99% of the population has been, polio has been eradicated from 99% of the population. But because it's so easy to spread, until we totally eradicate it, that 1% could grow again.
Right. I was good. How do you know?
You have to go 3 years without a new case.
Without a reported or detected new case?
Correct.
So it could be, you could think that you're good and it's gone and then resurfaces again?
I guess. They're getting better at it all the time, but as I say, they're not inoculating, but vaccinating for every child for 3 years. And so, for example, in India last year, there's a vaccination day where you can imagine what an army of people it had to be to get to every child in India.
I can't imagine. Overwhelming. Have you ever been on the ground level?
I have not. Many people that I know have gone to those days in different countries, sometimes for those particular days. And of course, it's not just a day.
Right.
It's several days.
Wow.
But, there's volunteers in many different ways to be able to help out. And of course, it's all about money.
I was just going to say, is money the answer?
Well, it's both, because you need feet on the ground, but you need money to pay for supplies, all of the ways of the education campaign, getting the people to the children. So it's, we're at about $1.2 billion so far, and counting.
Just gotten the wrap sign. I want to reinforce that January is Rotary Awareness Month, which is why we're featuring Rotary Clubs of Nanaimo on the show here quite often. Go to the websites, Google Rotary, get in contact with any of the local clubs to see how you can help. It feels like the home stretch now, really on the home stretch, nearly there, this close to getting polio gone from this world, and then we'll see what we can move on to next. We're going to throw things over now to Matt Carter. We're thrilled to have him back from his little jaunt over to Montreal. Seems to be a bit of a French theme on the show today, but Matt is here with Glen Foster.
J'aime la ville de Montréal, ouais. Again, the real French beef for the food coming up later on. All right, we've had the symphony earlier. We have gospel music later. Now it's time for a little bit of rock and roll. The gentleman beside me right here, as you've heard earlier, an excellent guitarist, songwriter, singer.
Thank you.
He also runs a record label, produces artists as well, and has basically toured across the country for more than 30 years. Glen Foster, welcome to the show.
Yeah, a guy's got to have a few things on the go if you're going to be in the music business, because it's hard to make money at any one thing. So the more things you have your pie in, I guess the more chances you come out with a few coins.
Exactly, yeah, and again, you're a perfect example of that. Now, the last song you sang, beautiful. I got to ask, a lot of gearheads out there, tell us a bit about the guitar you're playing. Beautiful piece of machinery.
Yeah, this is a original 1971 Martin D28 guitar that was made in the USA. It's original Brazilian rosewood that is almost impossible to get anymore. Yeah, it's a good guitar.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, sounds great. Thanks. All right, as you mentioned, you've been playing a lot across Canada for the past 30 years, and you really like that sort of rock and roll vibe. Tell us about some of your starting up music. What sort of bands did you start off in? Was it always rock and roll, that sort of stuff?
Yeah. As a kid, I guess yes, but my first professional gig was actually doing folk music. We were hooked up with some guys in Toronto. Raymond Albert was a fellow with a Warner Brothers contract, so we made some records and toured one end of Canada to the other. And the rock and roll eventually just kind of evolved into, you know, want to have more grit in it, and so we beefed it up, and from there I've just been in various different rock bands throughout the years.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, if you only had one more gig left to play in your life, what city in Canada would you pick to play it in?
Wow, you know, Toronto comes to mind because it's you know, a big town. Yeah. There you go.
Pretty dark. Well, our producer Todd Jones is a huge Leafs fan, so he'll definitely appreciate that. Yeah, he's already cheering.
There we go.
Exactly. Now, every good rock and roller needs a nickname, and one of the sort of the names you've used a lot for sort of yourself, for albums, for bands, is Falcon.
Yeah.
So what's the story behind Falcon?
Well, it's not real deep, but the Eagles were big at the time, and I thought, well, you know, I could use a handle, so. It did kind of evolve into like I wrote a song called The Falcon, and I kind of created an identity around that, and then people started calling me Falcon, or, you know, hey, Falker, you know. So yeah, I just kind of went with it, and then we had a band called The Falcon and the Snowman that still plays a little bit, so yeah, it's just a handle.
Very cool. All right, so we're going to turn it back to one more song. A few real quick things. Your last album you released as the Glen Foster Group, Pixelated Man. You can get that on your website, I believe, glenfoster.ca.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool website as well.
Thank
and
you.
Also, in terms of upcoming gigs, you're playing, I believe, Saturday, January 28th at, where's that at?
Front Street Grill in Nanaimo, downtown Front Street Grill.
Perfect, and I know for all more upcoming gigs, then it'll be on your website, glenfoster.ca. All right, here's another song called Someday. What's the story behind that scene?
Well, you know what, being an entertainer, a musician, you have a fabulous opportunity to be in front of people and say something, or you can say nothing. But if you're a songwriter, you know, sometimes it's kind of nice to say something with some sort of, message, or, you know, some kind of thing. I don't know. I'll just play the song for you.
Sounds good to me. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Glen Foster here on the show, Shaw TV.
Well, it's a long, long way to the other side. We get our fears, the times we cried. We release the pain and the pride that we hide inside. Someday tears will all be dry, the taste of hunger satisfied, and the chains on freedom broken and untied. Leave this space for a better place, lose despair without a trace, and grow in grace with faith in the human race. We see our hopes and our dreams come true, dwell in peace like we're meant to do, and live in harmony. Whoa, through. Someday it'll all work out. Try so hard to do what's right, to be on guard and fight the good fight. But when days are dark, you can't see the light. Now if we seek the truth, we can find the way to heal our hearts and be okay. Keep the faith and not fall away. And when we learn to love a fellow man, take the time to understand, share the wealth, not make demands. Well, we can conquer strife, it'll disappear. Honor life that we hold so dear. Dispel the darkness and let it all come clear. Oh, someday it'll all work out. Yeah, I have no doubt. Someday it'll all work out. You can help us out. Someday it'll all work out. With or without, someday it'll all work out. Whoa, someday it'll all work out. Whoa, someday it'll all work out. Whoa, someday it'll all work out.
And now, back to the show. Only on Shaw TV.
You are watching the 18th edition of the show, a studio production produced right here in Nanaimo at 4316 Boban Drive. Today we've got about half staff, half volunteers, and we'll run some information at the end of the show on how you can get involved as a volunteer or a guest in this, access program here on Channel 4 in Nanaimo. Crepes, they're sweet or savory, and they are growing in popularity. Today we're making, Gilles, I'm not, roulade, roll that R.
De crêpes au thon et crevettes.
Which means?
Tuna and shrimp.
Tuna and shrimp crepes. So this is a savory version.
Yeah, it's very popular if you would like impressionner. Impress the people, but it's very fast, it's very easy.
Okay, let's get started. You have some crepes pre-made, and let's take us to the first step.
Okay.
Is this something someone could try at home?
Yeah, it's very easy.
He needs a translator for me.
Sorry. It's very easy. If you don't have a French crepe, for do French crepe, it's very easy. It's 3 eggs, 2 cups milk, little salt, and approximately 1 cup farine. Okay. And you mixed.
Okay.
You stay for 1 hour. And after it's very difficult because you have a pan, you butter, you do, and hop. And after you have the crepes.
And we would do that
very
here,
thin.
Except we don't have a stove.
If you don't have, it's possible with wrap, it's possible with similar.
Right.
Just.
Okay. I don't know what that was.
Basically any pan that would do if you got one.
Okay. Okay, so.
The secret is about this, you have to let it sit an hour though.
That's the secret. Okay. I keep telling you to start and then I interrupt you. So.
Okay, no, it's correct. The first time is very important, do mayonnaise, French mayonnaise.
Okay, now this is what Raymond was excited about when we invited him on the show today. He doesn't like the fake mayonnaise.
2 yellow eggs.
Yellow eggs.
On 1 cup oil, regular oil.
So 2 egg yolks?
Okay, not the whites.
Not the whites,
okay,
just the 2 egg yolks.
Okay.
That's the yellow part of the eggs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on mustard Dijon.
Dijon mustard?
It's not possible there because it's a vinegar. Vinegar inside do.
Okay.
On in your robot, eggs, mustard, and little, slowly oil, and you have mayonnaise. Okay?
Huile, c'est ça tu parlais de?
Oui.
Okay, oil.
Yes, oil. Okay. We're going to need longer than 8 minutes, aren't we? We've got 8 minutes allocated for this particular section. So I should stop talking and enjoy because the accent is heavy, but I love it. It's fabulous.
You're cooking eggs. Eggs is 10 minutes in boil.
Yeah, hard-boiled eggs.
Hard-boiled eggs.
You cut No finger, just eggs.
You want to keep your fingers.
Keep your fingers out of the way.
Yeah.
Now, have you been to the restaurant?
Yes,
Raymond?
I have.
Yes.
I have. I've been to the restaurant when it was first opened.
Okay.
5 years ago.
5 years ago. Now, Gilles, you have owned 7 different restaurants in various locations around the world.
Yeah.
And Nanaimo is the only one they say that 5 years is a milestone when you're in the restaurant business, and you've hit that milestone in Nanaimo.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
No easy task.
What?
No easy task.
C'est pas facile.
No. No.
Okay, this is the first time that I have been accused of talking so fast that I need a translator.
Okay,
it's all
when
good.
you do this, because you need for the color yellow,
okay.
you inside the plate, you're mixed.
Once the mayonnaise and the eggs and a little bit of parsley
okay.
mixed
nice.
together, he likes to deposit on the plate.
People love crepes, you know. They love them.
Crepes?
I like the variety that you can have in them. We've got about like 4 minutes left, I've just been told. So you're going to do something fancy with the shrimp.
Sorry, after you take a shrimp, shrimp is very difficult because you would like is no move. You take a little knife and you cut.
And again, no fingers.
No, again.
And you don't cut it fully. You got to cut it like
And
pierce.
you turn inside.
Okay.
For it's possible, you deposit.
Is there a name for that?
It's garnishing,
shrimps.
basically. It's special ways of garnishing.
Shrimps, all right.
The key is it's not, you don't want to be like at the tip, you don't want to pop it. You just want to make like just go through it like a hole, and then when you flip it, then you get to make a beautiful garnish. Now that's a beautiful egg garnish.
Okay, after you take again mayonnaise.
Right. You know, I am jealous of the French culture.
Little
of the food,
tomato
the music,
coulis.
the voice. Tomato sauce.
Tomato sauce. Very important.
Okay, and you brought some
brandy.
Brandy. It's getting better every minute.
Little.
Just a dab.
Just a dab.
Oh, what
this is
poudre
d'ail.
That's French brandy.
Poudre d'ail.
It's garlic powder.
Okay.
Okay.
Garlic powder.
Okay. And inside, you take onion, cut, coupé en petits.
Diced.
Diced.
Tomatoes.
Diced.
Does our language, does the English pronunciation seem quite vulgar and a little bit just harsh? It's not a beautiful language, the English language.
We're
is
the
it?
language of love.
Yeah, it's nice.
It is?
I don't understand, but it's nice.
It's different. It's not the language of love, that's for sure.
Broccoli.
We'll have you back on the Valentine's Day show next time. Yeah.
Broccoli and tuna.
And raw broccoli, not cooked.
Yes.
Now you.
And tuna.
Ton broccoli
is this just the canned tuna?
Tuna is canned. It's possible no tuna. It's possible salmon, wild salmon, cooking just in the water.
Okay.
No many flavor. Flavor.
Okay.
Flavor. Yeah. Because you have many tests with the tomatoes, with mayonnaise, with cognac.
The key is about the flavor.
C'est bon. Very good. Very good. Okay, more tuna.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you haven't steamed the broccoli or cooked it up. You want it raw?
Yeah, broccoli. I'm taking broccoli and.
Very small.
No, you.
Just the flowers.
Break it apart in pieces, but it's all raw. Like he was saying, it's like the broccoli is not cooked. It's raw because raw vegetables are good.
Yeah.
Like carrots.
Keep all the nutrients in there.
Yes.
And the texture. There's a lot of texture in this particular crepe. I'm getting a 1-minute wave.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You take a crepes. You put the crepes. You take your appareil. I don't know the name, but appareil.
You take your wonderful filling.
Yeah. And it's very important. You turn. It's a roulade.
Roulade.
That's the rolling part.
Okay. You take a Parsley.
Parsley.
Okay.
And you like take the parsley stems.
Little decoration parsley. But it's fast. Up. This.
It's fast cuisine.
Yeah.
The French way.
Yeah.
Okay. You're fabulous. You guys are fabulous.
You take your knife.
Watch your fingers.
Yeah. And you take little for decoration with the flour.
Little slices. Beautiful slices.
I've always thought a crepe, always a sauce on a all in one piece. You cut it yourself.
As you notice that he's actually building somewhat of a tuna tree.
A tuna tree. Okay, I'm getting the wrap sign.
You are finished?
Yes.
Okay. You speaking?
Okay, I'll keep talking. We're good.
Okay.
You're just going to sprinkle a bit of lemon on there.
Yeah, yeah, it's very important. You finish for this.
Okay.
We might take this and tagara, tagara, tagara. Ta-da!
Okay,
thank you so much.
Thank you. That was wonderful, wonderful. This is very, very enjoyable.
Thank you so much.
I haven't lost it like that in a few years on the air here, but it is fun. Gilles, Le Café Francais, downtown Nanaimo on Commercial Street, a fabulous little bistro. Stop in and enjoy the food, the culture, the ambience that you'll find in that cafe. We're going to throw things over now to Dunya Tosi, who's continuing with what seems to be a bit of a multicultural theme that's developed on today's show. Dunya?
Thanks, Kate. Well, it's hard to move on from, you know, crepe. How about Gilles maybe makes me next chocolate banana crepe, because it's my favorite. That would be great. But moving on to a little more serious topic. I'll have to get, you know, rid of the food thoughts in my head right now. Well, we'll talk about immigration. So Canada welcomes about 25, well, not 25, it's a 250,000 people, immigrants, who come to Canada each year to look for a better life here in Canada. But unfortunately, for a lot of people, a lot of the professionals, the skilled workers, it's very hard for them to get jobs here in Canada in general and in Nanaimo more specifically. So to talk to us about this issue here today, we've got the Executive Director of the Nanaimo Immigration Welcome Center, Hilde Schlosser. And we've also got, we have an immigrant here who's been here for only 8 months in Canada. Welcome, Helena Eskildsen. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And she's from Denmark. She's been here for 8 months already. Thank you for being here with us today. So, Helena, talk to us. Well, why did you move to Canada? You're here for 8 months, and why did you choose Canada?
Well, my husband is from Nanaimo originally.
Okay.
So we moved back to get a new perspective on life, and his family is here. So we would like to get closer to his family.
I see, I see. What do you like about it? I mean, I know 8 months is probably not enough to get an idea, but what do you like about Canada so far?
Well, what I like about Nanaimo is, of course, a beautiful setting, your natural scenery. People are very open and friendly. It's extremely kid-friendly. You can bring your kids everywhere, and they are always welcome. And there are a lot of possibilities here, a lot of opportunities in culture and arts. The city is developing rapidly, and it's all really exciting. I would love to be a part of it.
But I know that you have an equivalent of a master's degree in what you called experience marketing, which is sort of like a mix between tourism, business, marketing, that sort of thing. Well, this should be very useful in BC here because we're all about tourism and, you know. How difficult has it been for you to find a job here?
I've sent out a lot of resumes, haven't heard anything back. Gotten quite depressed about it, but decided to turn it around, look at it from another view. And I started getting myself out there, meeting people, getting a network. That's very important, I've found. Started volunteering, just tried to get a job in another way than maybe the normal way. And it's been very good.
It's been very good.
Very
so it's getting better, you're saying?
It's getting a lot better, definitely.
So, but Hilde, I know that it is very hard for a lot of other people as well. It's a common thing that we keep hearing. I mean, for years we've been hearing about this, that new immigrants are, you know, find it hard to find a job, especially the skilled ones, the professionals, you know, a doctor, engineer, master's degrees, PhDs. You see them, you know, driving taxis. Sometimes you hear of all these stories. Why do you think that is? Why is it so hard to find a job here in Canada?
Well, we know that there are a number of barriers that immigrants face when they come to the country. Certainly some of them are barriers that they have to overcome, such as language and understanding of the culture. But there are many barriers that we put up, roadblocks that we put in their way that make it very difficult for them to navigate our systems, to understand how we work, what employer expectations are, to have their credentials recognized, and to get some Canadian work experience, because you can come with a resume full of all kinds of credentials and experience, and for some reason employers here often say, well, unless you have Canadian experience, I don't really want to look at you.
That's very common, and also the certification. I know that it takes people years to get it, if even they can get it. I mean, why is it so hard to get certified?
Well, there are so many different certification bodies, professional bodies, associations that actually do the certification, that we're having to try and match qualifications across so many sectors. And every one of them has a different outlook, has different reasons. There's a little bit of protectionism going on. There's no doubt about that. There's still the fear that we're taking jobs away from Canadians, that immigrants are taking jobs away. But there's a real denial still in communities like Nanaimo that we're facing a looming labor shortage, and that we're going to have to replace people in these professional positions. If we don't begin to open our doors and recognize those professions, we're never going to be able to have those professionals working here. And it's a really sad situation for the country, for immigrants and for the country. It's a terrible waste of amazing resources.
I know that Helena just had an interview just before you got here, actually, which is, you know, a good thing to hear. But what can other people do in order for them to, you know, increase their chances, you know, become more employable? What can they do?
Well, certainly centers like ours have the expertise to kind of assist with that. We work with employers too to try and get them to understand different perspectives, to create a more welcoming and diverse workforce, to train their employees as well to be more open to different ways of doing things. I think immigrants bring so much expertise that we can learn from as well. And certainly to do things like mentor immigrants, to help train them, to help them work their way up, and to really open the door and be more open to the idea of having immigrants in the workforce.
That's great. Well, thank you so much. We ran out of time, but thank you for coming here, and good luck on your job search, Helena. And if you guys would like to learn more about this, you can visit the Immigration Welcome Center website. They have all kinds of information there. You can either help, volunteer, or if you need help yourself, they can help you out. And, well, we're done with this interview. Thank you very much, and we'll be back with more after the break.
And now, back to the show. Only on Shaw TV.
You are watching once again the show here on Shaw TV at Channel 4 in Nanaimo. Our next guest, Tamara Lee, is a singer and a music teacher. I think you spent a lot of time in the Ladysmith district.
I used to.
Used to, okay. And you are the inspiration behind the upcoming Southern Gospel Music Experience. The event is a series of workshops that culminates in a performance of Southern Gospel music, and we're talking now February 9th to 12th, so you can start marking things on your calendar now, and we'll get to the specific details in a couple of minutes. But first, Tamara, gospel music. I think maybe people misunderstand what it is.
Well, gospel music, the word gospel really means good news. And so when we talk about gospel music, it's about crisis and victory, as opposed to, say, the blues, which is all about I lost my dog, I lost my girl, I lost my money. When we deal with gospel music and that genre, it's about, yeah, we have tests and trials, but by the end of the song, you're going to have pushed your way to the end of see the light in the tunnel, and you're happy and joyful. And I think that's what really attracts people to this type of music.
And is that where the religious connection comes in, or the ties? I think there is a strong religious tie to it.
Well, there is a strong religious tie in the fact that gospel music being the religious aspect of, say, blues and jazz.
Okay.
And historically, I could go back to when people were brought over as slaves from the west of Africa in the 1600s and go through spirituals, and all of a sudden they were using music as codes or maps to be freed as slaves.
Wow.
And then it would come into blues and jazz and gospel music, and it's just kind of kept on going and renewed itself in many different ways, because there's many different genres of gospel music.
When were you exposed to it for the first time?
Ever since I've been a child, but I had the opportunity to go down to California, and I went to an all-black church in a very poor neighborhood. The bus driver wouldn't leave the bus. He said, it won't be here if I come back.
Right.
And it was 4 hours of church, and it was I go, this is what church is. It was incredible, because you had people in the congregation that they all had fantastic voices, and it was so free, and it was so inspiring that when I heard that, I was like, I got to learn this music. I have to learn how to sing this music, and that's been a love of mine ever since. But before, when I was younger, I used to watch it on TV and listen to it.
I'm trying to an all-black church with you, with your very blonde hair and your blue eyes.
I know. And I was with a group of young children too. So we were the only white people, and we had actually gone to the Compton area earlier in that week, and it was an interesting experience for them because they got really caught up in the whole frenzy of the joy of the music, and because it's all music all the time, 4 hours.
We're going to get a little sample from you, and I almost feel like we're asking too much, but we will. But before we do that, are there different kinds of gospel music? I mean, you've got some people coming. We'll talk about the workshops, Southern versus Northern, for example.
Well, I'll put it in this context. So there's different styles. There's choir, there's soloist, there's a cappella, and there's quartet groups that sing together. So sort of 4 genres of gospel music, just to lay it out there basically. Yeah.
I've got a 2-minute cue over your shoulder. You're going to do a sample, which would be the a cappella solo, a song called Be Grateful.
Yeah.
Did I just let you take it away?
God has not promised me sunshine. That's not the way it's going to be. But a little rain mixed with God's sunshine, a little pain makes you appreciate the good times. Be grateful, be grateful, for it will be all right.
Thank you. Wow.
Thank you.
Craziness with Crepes and a personal serenade of some Southern gospel music. This is fabulous. We did get a wrap. We've got about a minute left. Details. February 9th to 12th, the Southern Gospel Experience taking place in Nanaimo. There's a series of workshops with, who are the presenters?
Kim Pacheco and Richard White Jr., who are from North and South Carolina, and they've grown up in the gospel tradition, and they're fantastic facilitators. We have a wonderful time. We create community and family, and we just have a blast.
And the workshop is for anybody, right?
Anybody, any singing level. If you don't think you can sing, you need to come, because it's about experiencing this sense of community that we construct there. It's not about singing. It's about creating a family unit.
I can see that was only a short sample that you did, and it's absolutely moving. I'm going to wrap up with some details on the concert. It's Sunday, February the 12th. You can get all the information on the workshops. There's some early bird deadlines that you can get discounts on signing up. That's www.tamaraleemusic.com. Tamara's passionate about this, wholly committed, and we certainly want to support her and experience some music. I'm hearing snapping fingers coming from the control room, so we're going to wrap things up. Thank you for watching. Once again, here is Glen Foster.
Pixelated man, depicted as you planned, digitized and dramatized, optimized and polarized, glamorized, with shaded eyes you stand. Desolation new, all depends on what you do. Authorized and analyzed, legalized, legitimized. Tell no lies, your trusted, tried and true, pixelated man.